Okay, so to remove the radio, actually, you don't even really need tools. I mean, you can use a pry bar, but I don't like to because there's a chance of marking everything up. So just gonna start right here, giving it a yank, pops out, up top there. Over here starts to get a little finagly. There we go. So we got that bad boy out. Just gonna unplug this connector here, just clip right there. Set this in the back seat, and now we see what's holding it in. It looks like 4 10mm, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a ratchet to take those out and go from there. Out, giving it a slight yankaroo. A couple different connectors back here. First the antenna. No idea what in the world that one is. Maybe Bluetooth microphone, not too sure. Then your regular radio stuff here. And another random weirdo, I'm not too sure what it is. Probably going to the USB and auxiliary and such. And another harness. Alright, so that's the radio out. Alright, so what I like to do when I'm doing an amp install is try to minimize the holes that I have to put into the car. If I can avoid it, I will. So I see right now on the firewall here a bundle of wiring coming in. It's probably for the ECU or whatever coming in here. I see the big giant grommet there, so that's going to be perfect to pull the 8-gauge wire through. Here's a shot of it from the engine bay, and I'll show you a shot of it from inside the car as well. If you look at the bottom, you see a little nipple looking thing, I guess is the best way to describe it. A lot of times you can clip off the end of that and run the wire right through there. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, but I'll show you on the inside what it's looking like. Alright, here's the inside shot of that bundle of wires right there, what I'm pointing at. It's the big giant grommet, so that's what I'm going to be feeding my 8-gauge power wire through for the amplifier. Alright, so here you can see where I ran the power wire. It was pretty tight. I wouldn't go any larger than 8 gauge. It's not going to fit. You may as well just drill a hole somewhere in the firewall for any larger than that. We're doing 8 gauge because we're just doing a subwoofer amp and it's under 500 watts. It's not going to pull a whole lot of current. It was very tight for the 8 gauge even, so we had to use some penetrating oil. We clipped a little nipple off and sprayed that in there. Had to spray it a couple times again to get the wire going through all the way. I'll show you on the other side here what it looks like. Alright, so you can see it coming out through there. We basically just clipped the little tip of that nipple, for lack of a better word, thing there. And then there was an opening on the other side already for that, so we tried feeding it through dry, I guess you'd say, and it was just binding up, so we sprayed a little bit of PB Blaster in there, and it slid right through. Alright, and right now you see I've got my RCA cables and my remote wire just kind of sitting in the radio cavity at the moment. I'm going to be running them up under there and then along the sides here. So in practice, you don't want to run the signal cables along power cables with 4-channel amplifiers. Since this is going to be a mono amp that we're running into it, you're not going to get interference. So, you know, kind of going against best practice here doing that. But for a subwoofer amplifier, you're not going to get interference like you would with a 4-channel. And for running the wires up through here, we basically just went ahead and I fed the wires up by hand there, and another person up top here grabbed them. Pretty simple. Alright, I'm just going to pop off the trim. Generally it's just a couple of clips. Hopefully I don't break them. Just giving it a yankaroo right here. Alright, that one sounded like it came off successfully. That one did too. That one too. Alright, and then let's see, what do we got back here? Another clip there, another one here going to the kick panel. Alright, so pretty typical import. Easy stuff to pop off. You can see nothing broke on the other end. So we're good there. Alright, and just in case you were having issues with taking off that panel, here's what where the clips are. There's one there and one there. The holes for it, one right there and one up top there. And don't be surprised if one of these comes out and one doesn't. it happens. Just pop it off, put it on there, you're good. Sometimes they'll break. By the time you're working on this car, it's real old. Don't be surprised if they break. And the other ones, these little plastic guys just go into here, so not a whole lot to that really. But the main ones are up there, those are the ones that are harder. Alright, and here's just a shot of how I've got everything tied up right now. You can see the power wire is pretty close to the steering shaft, so I went ahead and zip tied it up top there to the wiring, to the brake pedal. Or, not brake pedal, sorry, to the throttle pedal for the drive-by-wire. So yeah, got it right there, zip tied there, so it's not going to come in contact with that steering shaft. It's the last thing you want happening, because, yeah, for obvious reasons. And I've got the RCA cables running down there, under that panel there, then under the carpet, coming across, coming out right over here. Okay, and then here's how these come off, so you can tuck the wire up under there, because obviously you don't want to just flop it here. The panel won't sit properly and everything, so what we do here is push this guy here, then this one out like that. So here again, this one, you push it, there we go, and same down here. So from there you're able to pull the carpet back, maybe. There we go, that's actually what I wanted to do. So let's forget everything that just happened and that, and then tuck them up under there. You can zip tie these together and everything too. I mean, my girlfriend likes to change cars up a lot. She ends up hating them after a while, so yeah, this may not be that permanent, but you know, we're getting them tucked away nice and properly. So there, you get the idea here. Follow it all the way down, and I'll show you how we get it from the back of this door to the trunk, or to the hatch. Okay, and right here, got them tucked under the carpet. Then back here, it easily tucks up under here. This panel's plenty flexible, so just flop them up under there. Up right there. And basically, you can take out the seats if you want. Kind of just don't feel like it. And then you can just pull these back, and you can see the panel still continues there. There's plenty of room to get your hand under there and route it back there. That's what I'm going to be doing. So, alright, so hit it really not much of a snag here, but you can see here, can't tuck it in because there's a clip there. So you just take a flathead, get it up under there, right up next to the clip, and just kind of push up, and you can feel it. It's somewhat of a tree type clip there. So there you go. Now you can tuck the wires up under here. May still, you know, pry under there. It's a little tight. They're on the corner there, but you'll be able to get them through. Alright, so here's just a shot of where the wires are running through. Obviously I gotta tuck that one in all the way, but there's that one. They run down the side there. Can't really see them because they're tucked down pretty well. Then up under here, you run them up under that tube there. And then they end up coming out right here in this corner, which actually works out nicely because I don't have to drill any holes or anything. So there's these, and I'm going to have to do a ground now, which I'm going to take a look and see what my best options are for that. I'll see if there's a factory bolt I can reuse, otherwise I'll just do the self-tapping screw. Okay, so I found a spot to put a ground. I'm going to go with a factory bolt. Just don't want to drill anything into the car. So we're using the factory seatbelt bolt there. As you can see, it's removed. It's a 14 millimeter. It's a little fatter than your standard ring terminal that would come in an 8 gauge. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe drill this one out or just replace it with a fatter one that's meant for a larger gauge. And then I shouldn't even have a problem after that. Alright, and here's the ring terminal I put on. Cut off the old one there. Fatter one here. Fits in there real nice like. Oh yeah, there you go. And then I just crimped it. I used the same crimpers that I would use for like a deck install. Make sure that you're using something like that, or they get those big ratcheting ones as well. Either way. Some people like to use a torch on them and solder in here too. I usually just crimp it, give it a few Polarooskies, and if it doesn't come off, I call it good. And then here's a shot of the sub once it's back in. Here's a shot of the wiring coming in. I just put in a nice big fat piece of loom there to make it look a little more streamlined. Yeah. Okay, so here's what the power wire looks like after we ran it. You can see back there, kind of, that we loomed it, routed it behind the intake, piping back there, coming out there, zip tie here, holding it to the factory wiring. Ran it up in here with the factory plastic here. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, so you can see there's a 12mm bolt there. Used it, routed it, factory there. It ends up tighter fit than factory, so keep that in mind, but it works. This is with 8 gauge, of course. If you're doing 4 gauge or bigger, good luck with that. This thing probably won't ever go back on, but with 8 gauge it works fine.